Have you ever driven a car and given somebody a ride? Or if you okay, that's okay.
Go on.
I'm sorry. Oh.
You want to start it? No, that's okay. Continue.
Have you ever driven a car and given somebody a ride? Or you have been the person who was given the ride? If so, you should know the rules of etiquette the passengers should observe. I hadn't known that until I traveled to Chicago, and that made a lot of trouble to myself and my friends. After staying 2 months in Green Bay, Wisconsin, we felt strong desire to look around the other areas, so we decided to go to Chicago. It was about 3 hours distance from Green Bay. We wanted to save money, so instead of taking plane or Greyhound, we asked a friend named Hyunhae who had been to Chicago and had a car to give us a ride. And for our work, we treat some meals for her and pay all the expenses needed for the car. We thought it would be quite fair, but it turned out that it was great pain and loss for her because of mistakes the passengers have made. The first thing we faced was about the oil. The oil price was soaring at the time in the States. So we tried to save even 1 cent by comparing the price at every gas station. While driving through the heart of Chicago, we were lacking in oil, so we looked for a cheap gas station. It was like, oh, $2.45. Oh, too expensive. Oh, $2.33, still expensive. Pass. $2.30. It's good, but we can find this cheaper one. Go. Meanwhile, we consumed almost all oil, and the car was almost stopped. Fortunately, we could find the cheapest one in the suburban area. We were happy, but Hyunhae must be extremely frustrated and even angry, even though she was silent. Another great trial was waiting for us in the last day. After the 2-day trip, we headed for Green Bay again. It was around midnight, and we were all exhausted, so we fell asleep as soon as we got in the car. And Hyunhae drove along. The problem was often getting in Wisconsin, which is notorious for its changeable weather. The rain started to pour, and Hyunhae got afraid because it was dark and there was no car, and the sound of rain, the light of the flash of lightning was so scary. So she started to speed up. Soon she heard an alarm whistle, and a policeman chased her car. And he gave her about $200 speeding ticket. Then we got up and heard the story. Until we got to Green Bay, we can't sleep and even pulled up our hair, feeling guilty and shameful to her. Although I made a lot of mistakes at the time, I learned a lot from those experiences. Whenever someone gives me a ride, I try not to distract him or her, and give the person good advice and help about whatever needed while driving. Through that experience, I became a really nice assistant passenger.